Turner knew that most of the business of any church happened right after the Sunday morning service, when everyone was breathing easy because the week's sermon had been successfully endured, the wheezing organ playing politely excused, and the tithing accepted as one of life's necessary hardships. While the congregation filed past the minister, exchanges were made, bargains agreed upon, transactions completed, and announcements announced. And it was an announcement that Mr. Stonecrop made as he gripped his minister's hand and stood close to him. "Mrs. Cobb's will was read last night," he said too loudly. "There is nothing for quieting a crowd like announcing that a will has been read." "Did she have family?" asked Reverend Buckminster. "Not a single living soul she would lay claim to, and even if she did, she didn't have a fortune to leave." "She had the house." "Yes, Reverend Buckminster, she had the house, sitting on the prettiest piece of property on Parker Head. Probably worth more than she could have ever imagined to some city folks from New York looking for a summer house in a town gearing up for the tourist trade." "I suppose so, Mr. Stonecrop." The congregation was edging in closer now, considering what Mrs. Cobb should have done to remember some kindness they had gone out of their way to show her. "Reverend Buckminster, you sent your boy over to read to her, didn't you?" Reverend Buckminster looked at Turner for a moment. "Yes, I did, Mr. Stonecrop. Most every afternoon this summer." "And on Sundays, too?" And some Saturdays." Mr. Stonecrop slapped Reverend Buckminster on the shoulder. "Reverend, you're more conniving than I thought." He looked around at the congregation as if to include them in his joke. "Conniving? The situation might lead some of us here to think for a moment, just for a moment, of course, that you had foreseen this very possibility, and so sent young Buckminster here to Mrs. Cobb to create this, we'll call it a situation." Turner could see that his father was feeling his own situation, moving away from him. He adjusted his robes, then his glasses. "Mr. Stonecrop," he said, "you have me at a loss. What situation do you mean?" "I shall speak it plainly and bluntly, Reverend. This house, which might have been left to the town to fund a coming prosperity, was left instead," and here he focused accusing eyes on Turner, "to your son." A general murmur of disappointment and dismay. A general sense that the parishioners of First Congregational had been cheated out of something that was due them. "Mrs. Cobb has left her house to Turner?" "Yes." "My son, Turner?" "Now you have a grasp of the situation. What do you intend to do about this?"